everyone, it's Heidi Fang here for Covering the Cage, and we're going to recap everything that went down at UFC 230 from Madison Square Garden in New York. Everything now is in the books, and Daniel Cormier inked himself into UFC history by becoming the first man to defend both the light heavyweight and heavyweight belts. He defeated Derrick in the second round of their fight in the main event via rear naked choke. It was an easy fight for Daniel Cormier. It went pretty much the way everyone expected and sets up Cormier for the rest of his career. He said that he's wanted to retire before his 40th birthday on March 20th of next year. And since he left this fight without a scratch, he'll probably get the fight that he wants next against Brock Lesnar. And thing is, though, I'm sure most fans want to see a third fight between him and Jon Jones. It's expected that Cormier will have to relinquish the light heavyweight belt when Jon Jones faces Alexander Gustafsson here in Las Vegas in December for that title. In the co-main event, Chris Weidman and Jacare Souza put up some high-octane action. Jacare surprised me, though, for never going to the ground in this fight. He finished Weidman in brutal fashion. A right hook put out the lights for Weidman, and that makes him lose 4 out of his last 5. He'll have a long road back to the top after that, but for Jacare, everything is on the up and up. I want to hear, though, from Adam Hill, who's out in the field, who he thinks should be next for both Daniel Cormier and Jacare Souza.
Well, thanks, Heidi. It was a big night at Madison Square Garden. Daniel Cormier defends the heavyweight title, as you've been discussing, and now it always is about what happens next. And I think Cormier is a very intriguing case of what happens next. In my mind, I do kind of want to see the Brock Lesnar fight. I also want to see the Jon Jones fight. I know Jones said he's not interested in the fight. I know fans are. Dana White said he is. I don't know who's going to make that decision. I think if Dana makes the decision, it'll be Jon Jones. If Daniel Cormier makes the decision, he'll be fighting Brock Lesnar. But so much can happen between now and then. I think it depends on if Jon Jones is able to beat Gustafsson next month. That's a big factor as well. So we'll monitor what goes on there. But I think what we can expect to see is Daniel Cormier March 2nd here at T-Mobile Arena, where we are right now. That event was announced, UFC 235. That's a perfect time for Daniel Cormier. He said he's retiring at 40. That's 2.5 weeks before his birthday, so it fits into his timeline. I think Daniel Cormier headlines that card. The question is, who does he fight? I'm going to guess right now it's Brock Lesnar. That's going to be my thought. That's who I think it will be. But certainly, as I said, a lot can happen, and the Jon Jones fight will certainly determine part of that equation. Something to keep an eye on for sure when Jon Jones returns to action here, also at T-Mobile Arena in December. A lot of middleweights on the main card as well, and we see where do we go from here. I know Jacare scores the upset over Weidman, took advantage of his opportunity. He's in the mix for sure. Got that middleweight title fight coming up. I know a lot of guys at Adesanya and Jacare both want that title fight. If one of those guys falls off, they want to step in, take advantage of that middleweight title fight if there's an opening. If the fight does go on as planned, I think there's a lot of intriguing options for both guys. What about Adesanya and Jacare? That would be an incredible fight, the battle of styles. I'd love to see something like that. There's a lot of intriguing options out there for Adesanya, who emerged as a huge star, I think, coming out of this card. A great performance by him. People are going to want to see him fight, and Jacare gets the knockout win. That raises his stock as well in the middleweight division. So a lot of options for a lot of middleweights coming out of this card, but I think we'll see Daniel Cormier here in Las Vegas in March, and that's the big thing coming out of tonight. The first guy ever to defend titles in 2 weight classes. A very impressive performance for Daniel Cormier.
Thanks, Adam, for that. I personally think Israel Adesanya should get a look at maybe facing Jacare after his fight that he had on this card. I think that definitely a top 10 opponent should be next for him. He took a TKO over Derrick Brunson, and the Stylebender said in his post-fight statement that he's even ready to step in to face Robert Whittaker should anything happen to Kelvin Gastelum when those two face off for the belt in Australia. Dana White said in the post-fight press conference that Israel Adesanya is a big star and he's a guy that he wants to see keep fighting. He said what you don't want is to see a guy like Israel Adesanya come out, put on a great performance, and then disappear. So hopefully we'll see more of him real soon. In addition, Jared Cannonier was a big surprise. He took a huge win over David Branch, and David Branch was actually one of the bigger favorites on the card at -400. Cannonier surprised getting a TKO win over Branch in the second round. Also, former Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series standout Carl Robertson went to the scorecards for the first time ever in his career, took a unanimous decision win over Jack Marshman in their fight, and took home a Performance of the Night bonus for it. The other Performance of the Night went to Israel Adesanya, and for Fight of the Night, though I thought Lando Venata and Matt Frivola was an early contender, the honors went to Chris Weidman and Jacare Souza. That'll do it for us here from the Covering the Cage studio here in Las Vegas. I'm Heidi Fang. You can give me a follow at Heidi Fang. And for Adam Hill, give him a follow on Twitter at AdamHillLVRJ. Thanks so much for watching.